This work is called The Machine Zone, and it's based on the behavioural experiments of B.F. Skinner. And in the 1950s and 60s and 70s, Skinner took pigeons and put them in these little operant conditioning chambers. He then had them pecking on these little buttons, and then a reward would come through after they'd pecked. He then introduced something called the variable reward, where the pigeon didn't really know how many times it had to peck. It could peck once or twice or 4 times, and suddenly the reward would come through. And at this point, the pigeons became addicted to pecking on these little buttons. And he realized that when you introduce uncertainty into a reward, then an addictive response starts to happen. And the machine zone is a condition that describes gamblers when they're on these slot machines and they go into this different zone and they just become locked into the machine. And these fruit machines, they work in a similar kind of way that you never really know when you're going to win. It's all randomized, and this random reward creates uncertainty, which encourages a feedback loop. And this psychology was taken by the software designers at social platforms, social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, to keep people, to maximize the on-screen time. So things like likes and comments and shares, we never really know when they're going to come through, so we keep picking up that phone and tapping away, hopefully to get this little dopamine hit that we get in response to these likes or comments or shares. So we become addicted to this technology. So these experiments that were done 50, 60, 70 years ago are now being used to kind of tie us into the little mobile digital devices that we have. And it basically taps into that subconscious side of our primal brain and hijacks our psychological vulnerabilities. And something that's really quite worrying is that these rewards that we get for this very basic human urge to communicate and relate to other people is not really fulfilled by platforms like social media. We never really get that reward that we desire. So this exacerbates that addiction, that craving to have more and more and more of these social interactions through our digital devices.